I got nothing on it.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Charlestown Advisory Plan Commission for the 12th of January 2026. I'd like to all rise and I'll lead you to pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll. Mr. Bergen?
Here.
Mr. Hester?
Here.
Mr. Goodlett?
Here.
I'm trying to find these people on here. I'm gonna get you and him that, what was your last name again? I feel bad. Hoffledge. Yeah, Mr. Hoffledge.
Here.
Excuse absence is Daisy, Lucio, and, who else is missing?
Ronnie Blevins.
Ronnie Blevins, they called in.
Is
Marty.
Oh, and Marty Clark. I'm Tony Jackson, the building commissioner. I'll sit in lieu of the absence of Mr. Blevins, who is the president. First order of business is, we do have 4 people, so we do have a quorum. You have before you a copy of the agenda on the tablets. Like a motion to approve the agenda.
to approve, I think said, okay, yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second
Hold on a second.
Motion by Mr. Hester, second by Mr. Goodlett. All in favor, say aye. Standing business, you have the prior meeting minutes. Entertain a motion for approval of those minutes or any changes.
I make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Bergen, second by Mr. Hoffman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have any public comment? The new business, let's go ahead and get we have a comprehensive plan. We have a presentation here for that. The young lady would come in front of us.
As far as changing slides.
Oh, let me say this
it's
first.
not
This
for you. Okay,
This
you
meeting
got
is
it.
being live streamed by Under Production Multimedia. So we always have to say that. And this is, we opened up the public meeting for the comprehensive plan,
The public hearing.
public hearing.
All right, my name is Bronte Merle, and I'm a community planner with Taylor Seeker Williams Design Group. We've been working since this last spring with the city of Charlestown to develop the comprehensive plan. So I'm going to talk to you all for about 10 minutes, not going to try to talk your ear off, but just give you a high-level overview of what's in the plan, how it was developed, and answer any questions that you all might have. So to do that, just go forward to the next slide. Just want to talk about real quick what we're going to be talking through. So again, just want to talk about the process, a few of the goals and strategies from the plan. We'll also talk briefly about the land use and transportation plans, and then some of the key points from the implementation piece, especially what's coming next in the next year or so. Next slide, please. All right. Looks like some of our headers have migrated around. Oh no, you can go to the next slide.
Okay.
That just sometimes happens with PowerPoint, but that's okay. So just at a real high level, just want to talk about what a comprehensive plan is and what our purpose has been over the last several months. So developing a comprehensive plan is really a collaborative process. As we'll talk about here in a moment, we worked with a steering committee of local staff, elected officials, and community members to really help guide this process. And a comprehensive plan is intended to articulate the values of your community. We typically start with a few big questions, which is, where is Charlestown today? So understanding demographics, economic conditions, the physical conditions of the community. Where are you guys today? Where are you heading? So looking at projections for future population. Where does Charlestown want to go? So that's a lot of the community engagement piece, really understanding what you all as a community and as staff really see your future as a community, and then how do we get there? So what are those strategic elements to help get us there? Indiana code really requires a few main things out of a comp plan. The first one is that you have a statement of goals and objectives. So what are we trying to achieve and how are we achieving it? You need to have a statement of policy for land use development. And then a statement of policy for public ways, public spaces, public lands, public structures, and public utilities. And then you can also have other optional elements. So what's in a comprehensive plan can vary quite a bit between communities, but these core elements are always going to be there in the state of Indiana. And for your all's plan, we're really thinking about this as a lot of different issues are going into this. And really the goal with it is to help all of these different layers of your community, whether that's transportation, utilities, parks, land use, whatever it is, really making sure that when you layer them on top of each other, they all work together. Go to the next slide. And so a comprehensive plan is really intended to be a legislative document. It's not a legally binding enforceable document. So if we say that our goal is to develop, a new park, example, that's not one of the specific recommendations, but if we say it is to develop a park, you are not now required as a city to now go and build that park. It's a guiding document that provides direction for the future, but it is not a hard and fast commitment to make it happen because we know things always change, funding opportunities, community direction, whatever it is. It's an official policy statement for private development projects and community expenditures. It's a vision for your future, and it's the foundation for land use decisions. So it can help guide your rezoning decisions is one of the big things that will play a part in when it comes to the land use plan. Next slide, please. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the process that we went through for this project. So we got started in April of 2025. One of the first things we always do with these is we form a steering committee. And so this had a real mix of different community members who helped guided us through the process. We met 4 times throughout the process. At each meeting we would address new topics. So we started out really thinking about the vision. What is your big vision for Charlestown? And then kind of narrowing that down. So our steering committee got to provide feedback on the goals and objectives, help us change those, draft those, really tailor those to your all's needs. We worked with the steering committee on the land use plan and the transportation plan so that when we could then take those comments and take it back out for public review as well. So we had 2 public meetings during this process, one again towards the beginning and one in October. And at both of these, we were really asking community members for their input. We don't typically just go and tell people what we're doing. We ask them what they want to see and what they need. And so we heard a lot about housing affordability. We heard a lot about traffic safety. I would say those are like 2 big issues we heard about. We also heard about economic development issues as well. We also did a public survey. As we'll talk about here in a moment, you guys had a lot of involvement on your public survey. Over 400 people participated, which is an amazing number for a community of your size. We have much larger communities that don't hit that number, so that was amazing. And then lastly, what I want to point out is just through this process, what we've really gotten to now is the adoption phase. So we recently developed the draft plan that the steering committee was able to review. We made edits and then we have it back to you guys now. And that's the draft that you all have. If you go to the next slide, I do want to talk briefly about some of the community input that we received. So these are all highlights from the online survey, and this is all in the plan document itself. So we had 559 total participants. When we asked people about housing, we heard a mix of different answers, but really we saw that almost 60% of survey respondents felt like there needed to be more single-family housing in the community. 30% wanted to see more senior housing and assisted living, and 23% wanted to see more patio homes. We asked people about a range of different housing types, and these were the 3 that were leading. We asked people about needed transportation improvements. Your leading one there is better maintenance and repairs on roads. Was your top one. We also asked people about the most needed types of development overall. And your top one there was retail and dining. Also entertainment options, and then protected open spaces and natural areas. So that's all summarized in the plan. There's also an appendix that does a deep dive into all the survey responses. So if you're someone who wants to dig through and read everything, you absolutely can do that as well. And if you'll go to the next slide, please. All right. And so I just want to talk through high level again some of our goals and strategies here. So the plan document really has 5 main goals. So each of these is really around a different topic. So the first one is public spaces and placemaking, and that is to expand parks, public spaces, events, and programming that bring people together. And so that will be then supported by a series of objectives, which we'll talk about here in a moment. Goal number 2 is downtown, which is to enhance downtown to establish it as a key destination that defines Charlestown. Goal number 3 is housing, so expand housing options to meet the needs of a variety of households and people at all stages of life. Goal number 4 is connectivity, so enhance the transportation system to support safe, connected, and efficient travel for automobiles and people. And then goal number 5 is economic development. So create a sound economic base for the city and attract users that support a high quality of life for their residents. Those are the 5 main goals, and if we go to the next slide, you can see that each goal is supported by a strategy. So this is a graphic we included in the plan to help communicate some of the structure. So when you've got your 5 goals, really each one has a set of strategies, at least 2, some of them have 3 or 4, but that help better define the specific things that we want to get done. So for example, under housing, we have strategy 3.2 that talks about prioritizing housing for seniors, workforce, and those with accessibility needs. And then we have 2 action steps underneath that. And so our action items or action steps are really those specific steps that can be taken to help get that strategy accomplished. So if you go to the next slide, each of your strategies in this document are going to have all of that supporting action steps, about information, and then some partners and resources. So on the next slide, it just shows you real quick. Again, you get that about statement. It gives you some background on the strategy and really how it can be carried out. Those details really vary depending on the strategy. And then for the action steps on the next slide, again, it calls out those specific steps that you can take. And then I do want to call out the partners and resources on the next slide. So for each of your strategies, what we've really done is identify the agencies, maybe nonprofit partners, state level partners, whoever it is who are going to be involved in getting each of these strategies completed. And for each of them, we've identified a lead. So, for example, if we're doing something with parks and public spaces, right, it makes sense that your Board of Public Works might be involved there. And so those would be some of your leading people. And then you've got other agencies that are supporting them. So when we get into the implementation process, each department or agency really knows what they're in charge of and how to get the ball rolling. We also then have a list of resources. So what are some of those, state level resources especially that are going to help you get the job done as well. If you go to the next slide. Okay, awesome. So I just want to talk through the future land use plan real quick. So your future land use plan is providing a broad vision for land use throughout the community. This is different from your previous land use plan. We've made some changes with it. The main things that I want to point out is how we've divided housing. So we've really separated things into a low density, medium density, and high density residential. So with low density being more of those single family plots in your more rural areas. You've got your medium density, which is single family with some of like the townhomes and whatnot, and then you've got your high density, which still allows single family, but those are also the areas that are more appropriate for things like apartment buildings. So really showing us where those different densities of housing are. And then we've defined 2 different types of mixed use. So you've got your downtown mixed use, and then you've got your suburban mixed use. So your downtown mixed use can be very much, you've got, ground floor, retail over top of that, housing or offices, whereas your suburban mixed use can be that, but it could also be, say, an office next door to a restaurant. So it can come in a different form. So your future land use plan is really going to help guide some of your decision making. So when you've got that rezoning in front of you, you're trying to decide whether or not it's consistent with community needs. This is one of those 5 things that the state recommends that you consider, is that future land use plan. So that's there. And on the next slide, we have our future transportation plan, which really identifies the transportation projects that are a priority for you all over the next 20 years. So this identifies a series of different roadway improvements, mainly corridors that need safety and capacity improvements, and then corridors that need safety and access management. In addition to that, we've identified intersections that we heard from community members and steering committee members as being high priority intersections for safety improvements. And then we also have gateways as well. So areas where you guys want to continue to work on some of that signage and decorative elements that are going to help communicate to people that they've entered Charlestown. So those are the main elements of the transportation plan, but I can take any questions that you all have about that as well. And then last, I just want to talk through the plan implementation with you all. So really we see the plan being implemented really in 4 phases, and you can go to the next slide. Awesome, thank you. So with that, we've really taken all of your action steps that are for each strategy and then organized them into a series of phases for which ones are going to get completed first and following. So in our immediate phase, which is 2026, we've got 12 of your action steps. In your short term, we've got 13. Midterm, which is 2031 to 35, we've got 7. And then in your long term, which is 2036 and beyond, we've got just 1 action step. So it might be like, wow, why do we have so many in 2026? And we'll talk about that. It's mostly your zoning pieces that you'll be handling with the UDO here soon. And then we've also got a phase for ongoing. And so ongoing are just some of those more maintenance things, more of those routine things that need to be done on a regular basis. And so if you go to the next slide, I do just want to talk through some of our more immediate action steps. So these are the things for 2026. The first few of them are not zoning related. So these are determine if a Main Street organization would benefit programming and business support. We had a lot of talk with steering committee members about the need for a Main Street program, but there's also a lot of discussion about whether it makes sense in Charlestown's context. So this is just there as kind of one of those first things, is really to explore the need and benefit of that. The next one here is to construct phase 1 of the Commons, identified in the Charlestown Square Vision Plan. And then the third one here is to support the use of locally publicized state incentives through the IHCDA and or IEDC, or targeted local incentives. And then on the next slide, we really have those zoning pieces. So those are 7 of them, and then there are 2 more on the next slide as well. I'm not going to read through these in a ton of detail just because it would take quite a minute, but I do want to point out a few things. So this is really about updating regulations to require new developments for adequate transitions between densities. So how are we thinking about screening and buffering? What types of land uses are compatible with one another? And thinking about incentivizing your tree canopy, looking at regulations for parks, open spaces, and amenities within larger developments. And then I'll also point out that we're really also looking at accessory dwelling units and thinking about how we can diversify housing types to meet different income needs while really conforming to your all's current character as well. So there are a lot of things there. Really with these action steps, again, this is not a hard and fast commitment to make each of these things included in the zoning in your UDO as you update it, but it does mean that as your new steering committee for the UDO sits down, that these are all topics that are going to be high on their list to consider and talk through and see how they get included into the updated zoning. All right, and then those would be other 2 as well. The last thing I want to point out is just that the plan document ends with 2 key pieces. The first one is plan maintenance. So really thinking about how you come back in every year, every couple of years, whatever it is, to update it. Sometimes we have communities that sit down with a committee every year and says, what did we get complete? What are we still working on? What do we want to add to our list of things to get done? So you can definitely do something like that and continue to amend it as you go. These are very much intended to be living documents to be updated as you have your needs change. And then the last note is that we do have a list of some resources that weren't specifically attached to a certain action step, but can still be useful as you go about implementation. So that's everything I've got for you all. I'm happy to take any questions you've got about the plan as well.
Do you have any questions from the board?
Seems pretty thorough.
I have some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
What's a UDO?
It's a unified development ordinance, so really what that is it's taking your zoning ordinance, your subdivision controls, basically all of those land use regulations, and it's putting it all in one document.
We call it the zoning code.
Yeah,
But we got a zoning code that has a subdivision right behind it, so they're just taking all that, putting it together.
yeah. It's really just technical jargon, but it's really just compiling it into one document.
All right, I just have some questions about some of the things that, while I'm looking through this.
Yeah.
And is this the time to be asking questions about this thing, or do you want me to send emails about questions I got about this, or?
Oh, yeah.
On page 18, this is talking about population change.
Yep.
From 2013 to 2023, Jeffersonville grew by 107%.
I think that's correct, isn't it?
Doubled in size in those 10 years.
Well, you have to think about population and annexation. So if they grow their boundaries, that contributes to it. I am going there right now, page 18. I can go check back that number for you and shoot Treva an email as well.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Salisbury 66, that just seemed a little interesting to me.
Yeah, I can go back and check that one and confirm that for you, though.
I think Jeffersonville took some of Utica, didn't they?
Well, Salisbury is also at 66%, where Charleston was 5%. So it just, those
Yeah.
numbers just jump
Well,
up.
and I'll also note that the way the census data works, so when we started the project, the most recent data we could get a hold of was 2023. And I know you all have really started to see your growth kind of in the last couple years, so I suspect the 2024 numbers are being released at the end of this month. I suspect some of those numbers are gonna start to change and those percentages are really gonna shift over the next couple of years as more data is released.
Okay. Another question. And these are things
Oh,
that jumped out at me.
Yes, no, please
What-
do,
what's
please
your
do.
one?
This is
The
the time to do it.
median household income 2023, Charleston had the highest median income of all, Carsville, Jeff, Salisbury, New Albany.
Yes, that is the data that we collected. I know that was a point of conversation. One of the conversations we had was, I know you guys had a neighborhood that recently had a lot of people moved out of it. And so that's going to affect it a bit, is just like the loss of that population on some of your income. But again, that's a number I can go back and check and confirm for you. Yeah.
If it is, it is. If
Yeah.
that's the number, that's the number. It just seemed like, maybe it's just stereotypical. But I always thought of Charlestown being one of the lesser economic.
Yeah, I would
Cities
say,
in Charleston.
but when you get into a larger community like Jeffersonville, you're just gonna have a wider range of economic diversity. So your households are just generally going to vary more, whereas you guys, I think, maybe lost some of those lower income residents. And so that's probably why your median household income is showing up so high.
And it's
Yeah.
great if it is. Another one that's jumped out at me, I thought was a great thing, is Charleston had unemployment rate in 2023 of 2.6%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It's pretty good, yeah.
All right, now I got a couple of, I think these are just more of things, typos, or maybe some things changed.
Yeah.
State Road 3 connects to Interstate 265 to the south. State Road 3 does not connect to 265.
You're correct.
That's
We'll
on
check.
page-
What page did you have that
That's
on?
page 32.
Page 32, all right.
That does not connect there.
I'm gonna get that note down. All right. All right, and then what else you got?
On page, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be this person.
No, of course, go for it.
On page 36, we no longer have a Jonathan Jennings or a Pleasant Ridge Elementary School.
Okay, so
We
just,
have
yeah.
one in Charlestown Elementary.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
combined. and-
And then that was one where I think we were writing this right before that
Yeah, right.
transition happened, so we can just go in and make that
Yeah, that's
note.
fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now you know what it's like for me to drive something up and give it to the mayor.
No,
She's a teacher also. She corrects
Sorry, I
me.
didn't mean to,
no,
Oh,
this is exactly what it is for, no worries at all.
I did actually have a question about TIFs on page 42.
Mhm.
Just the tax increment financing, just could you explain that a little bit to me?
Yes. So in very simple terms, so if you say you've got an area of town that you want to see improved and you've got a lot of development going on or the potential for a lot of development, you are then going to you're going to form a TIF district, and basically what that allows you to do is take all of the projected property tax increase, say like it's for the next 20 years, all of the property tax increase that you get from that is then going to be focused specifically those dollars into improvements for that district.
Okay, so that's like setting up basically an account just for Charlestown and only we have access.
Well, it wouldn't be Charlestown itself, it's really a more specific area. So the way it's been used in your all's area more recently is, been with River Ridge. And so it's been really focused on your all's industrial development, but people do it for downtowns as well.
you designate a boundary of land within the city.
Yeah.
And you say, all right, if this was $100,000 worth of land, in the 20 years, if it increases in value, that money that you get assessed from that assessed value, that money only goes back in that set boundary you got. It doesn't go to the whole city.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then,
Any public comment, questions? We'll close the public hearing on the comprehensive plan. So
all right.
I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of this. What would happen is we make the recommendation to the council, just like everything else, will be, approval, disapproval, or no recommendation at all. So I entertain a motion from the board.
I'll make a motion to make this an approval with the changes that have been asked to be changed.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Hester, a second by Mr. Goodland, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so the next thing we have is, I don't know if we want to recommend we hold off to appointing officers to the next meeting, because we're missing 3 people.
Yeah, we're missing several.
Yeah, in case you want to throw them under the bus. I know that's why you laughed. But we can do that.
Yeah, we're missing 3
And then
people.
I'll save the approval minutes. The meeting dates are pretty much the same, so I'll hold off on that. So, don't have any other business? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Somebody wants to adjourn? We can stay here.
Motion to adjourn.
Need a
I'll second.
Okay. Wait for Brian. Makes a motion, second by Mr. Hester. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.